Newcastle United. Ramsdale in goal. Kraft at right back. Cher, Byrne.
Hall's playing at left back.
Hall at left back. Target in midfield with Bruno and Miley. Jacob Murphy, Osula and Park are the front three. So it's a 4-3-3 and we are underway. Newcastle's penultimate pre-season fixture. Match 6 of 7. BBC Radio Newcastle and the BBC Sounds app. United shooting towards the Gallagher end in the first half to the right. Here our first couple of touches for Sung-Soo Park on the left wing, and now Lewis Hall tries to find him again. It's intercepted, and Espanyol on the turn. El Hilali can't get it clear. It's blocked and out for a throw, level with the edge of the visitors' penalty area. Ramsdale all in yellow, by the way, and Dmitrovic in purple with white gloves and boots. Ball back into play. Dan Byrne makes a challenge, and a free kick is given to Newcastle for handball. Lewis Miley collects it, and across midfield it comes. Emil Kraft takes a touch up to Murphy, forced back into his own half. Got a push from an opponent, Carlos Romero. Ramsdale out to Byrne. And Hall, who got 13 minutes plus additional time against Spurs, his first appearance since February because of the foot injury that required surgery. Plays it back over to this near side. And here is Sung-Soo. Ramsdale leaves his penalty box to keep Newcastle moving with a short pass up to Cher, clipped across midfield towards Target on halfway. Lost then by Javi Puado, the Espanyol captain, number 7 in attack. And here's Sung-Soo on the left wing, onto his right, goes back out the other way. Target on it here, and Hall there as well. About 15 yards out, left wing, back to Dan Byrne. Fabian Cher backpedaling, gives him an angle, but it goes up the line to Hall. Then back to Byrne and Cher on halfway. 3rd minute. 0-0. Matt Target makes a run into space, brings it down nicely, and Sung-Soo gets on the end of Target's through ball. His cross is blocked, out for a throw close to the corner flag.
Yeah, good play, wasn't it? Down that left side. He's been bright in these opening few minutes. He wants to get on the ball, doesn't he, Park? Wants to be involved.
There's a misplaced pass from Newcastle back towards Bruno, deep in midfield. Espanyol have it and win a throw on the right-hand side. Which is about to be taken by Omar El Hilali. Stabbed out by Dan Byrne on halfway. And another throw for Espanyol to take, who are part of the same group as Burnley. Their owners, Velocity Sport Limited, agreed a deal to buy Espanyol last month. And they're playing in a shirt without a sponsor on the front. The blue and white stripes. Osula closing down. It was cleared by centre-back Miguel Rubio, one of Espanyol's summer signings from Granada in Spain. Bruno winning a Bruno foul on the right side of midfield. Eddie Howe and Jason Tyndall in the technical area, both all in black. The Espanyol manager, Manolo Gonzalez, who had previously been in charge of their B team, is quite colourful. He's got a green and pink jacket on and light coloured tracksuit bottoms as Newcastle switch the play and find Sung-Soo. from right to left, and Target near the corner of the box. Plays a 1-2 with Hall, but the return pass is intercepted on the edge of the area, and Puado,
not for the first time,
loses the ball again. The skipper. Newcastle have possession, but they slow it down. It's all been played on the left side, hasn't it? There's been barely anything in well, we've only had 7 minutes on the right hand side as they look for Jacob Murphy, and it goes out. And players shuffle across to this near side of the pitch. Ball is picked up by Carlos Romero. He's on loan from Villarreal. Second season running Espanyol have had him on loan. Back to the corner of the penalty area, and now it goes long into the Newcastle half, stabbed away by Cher. Kraft and Bruno left it for one another. Espanyol get it back and give it to the goalkeeper, and Dimitrovic. Long ball forwards, Fabian Cher with a foul.
He just went straight through the back of him, didn't he? Right on halfway. In no hurry, are they, Espanyol?
Got the spotlights on around the top of St James's Park. There is a crane that we can see above the east stand, just to the right side. And that's where the Barker and Stonehouse used to be. That was demolished, wasn't it? There's some building work going on there, if you know the area around St James's, which I'm sure you do. But still quite light at the moment. A few clouds in the sky, but a dry evening. 0-0, Newcastle without the ball. It's with goalkeeper Dimitrovic, who had a few months at Charlton in the Championship a decade ago. Long ball forwards, and then the Spaniards have it in midfield, then play it back into their own half. And it's been an opening 8 minutes.
Very sedate, hasn't it? Yeah.
Where, with the exception of a couple of nice touches, many of them from Sung Soo Park for Newcastle, very little has happened. But maybe there'll be something here. Fabian Cher slides in to intercept a through ball, which would have had Espanyol in behind. And then it's won back by the away side on halfway. Right wing now, chance to cross, but it's blocked by Matt Target. Antonio Roca with the attempted delivery. Miley to Target, Hall on the touchline. Plays a 1-2 with Target. Newcastle get away, and Osula, a willing runner, chance to get after this. And Osula, in between two defenders, takes a tumble as the ball carries all the way through to Dimitrovic in the box.
Yeah, he was chasing a lost cause, wasn't he? He was never getting there.
Well, with no Callum Wilson, no Alexander Isak, it's been mostly on William Osula to lead Newcastle's attack through the centre in pre-season. Though Anthony Gordon started there against Tottenham Hotspur last weekend in Seoul in South Korea. Gordon, one of the players not involved tonight. Quite a few of the big names not part of things this evening, not involved tonight. Pope, Trippier, Livramento, Botman, Lascelles, Tonali, Joelinton, Elanga, Gordon, Barnes. Probably missed a couple. They are not in the squad this evening. We would expect to see them tomorrow. Although news on Botman is awaited after he picked up an injury while Newcastle were in Asia. Bruno and Miley, nice play. Murphy up to Osula, little flick on the turn, and then played back to Hall, 35 yards out. Here's Sung Soo Park, has it on his right, goes on the outside of the defender, hangs up a cross which is behind Osula and Murphy, but he's applauded for his play out on the wing, and he did well to get away, but the delivery didn't have the accuracy that Newcastle needed. Still 0-0.
Yeah, he's been lively. As I say, he's been trying to get on the ball, he's been trying to make things happen.
And 2 substitute appearances, but a couple of weeks training with the first team. There are players from the academy, including Trevin Sanusi, who came on against Bromley in the FA Cup in January, who've been at Newcastle for longer, been part of the setup, been in the under-21s, who could have started instead, but Eddie Howe has gone with Sung Soo Park, and been some nice moments so far. Emil Kraft inside to Lewis Miley, played it between defenders for the run of Murphy, but Murphy didn't make the run, and it's a goal kick. Michael Oliver wants a word with Leandro Cabrera, one of the Espanyol centre-backs. It's from Uruguay. And I think there must have been something with William Osula or Jacob Murphy. Osula's been involved. Murphy's gone across to the referee and Cabrera. Michael Oliver and then goes after William Osula, standing in the D, having a word. I don't know if it goes back to that run that Osula made when he took the tumble between the defenders, or if it was when...
No, I think there's been a coming together between them two. The referee's just had a little word with both of them.
Dan Burn plants a header on the ball that was sent up the pitch from the goal kick, but out on the left wing, Espanyol, Antonio Roca. He just ran out of room, ran the ball out of play. With bright orange boots. And there's one of 2 Espanyol players has got a long sleeve undershirt on. Cabrera, the defender, was just getting the telling off from the referee. He's got proper long sleeves on, the long sleeve jersey, which you don't always see now, do you? Everyone has the t-shirts, but Newcastle have got them back this year, long sleeves, which is a throwback, I suppose, but popular. Did you always wear long sleeves?
No.
T-shirt?
No.
The short sleeves always?
Yeah.
Miley defending on the left in the corner from another long pass up the pitch, and this is Hall turning away. He's done really well, Lewis Hall. Miley helps it forwards, Osula helps it on, but Newcastle can't keep it, and Osula chases. Espanyol with possession in the centre circle. Out it comes to Romero at left back, and then dropped off for Esposito. Miley slides in, as does Target in central midfield. Both get the ball away, but Newcastle can't keep possession. Eddie Howe still watching next to Jason Tyndall. Howe takes a couple of steps towards the touchline. It's 0-0 on BBC Radio Newcastle. We're also tonight on the BBC Sounds app, as we will be tomorrow. Build-up starts properly at 3 ahead of commentary on the match against Atletico Madrid from 4. Hall with a header into the attacking half. Sung Soo Park caught from behind. Newcastle United free kick.
Yeah, it's not a great deal of tempo to the game, is it? I suppose it's a typical pre-season game. Neither keeper's really been called upon to do much. Mitrovic has had a couple of back passes to deal with. Ramsdale's seen very little of the ball.
Yeah, mostly a spectator, Aaron Ramsdale. Now might be called into action. A break up the right-hand side. Dan Burn in the correct position to intercept the ball into the middle.
Poor ball.
Bruno Guimaraes forwards for Newcastle United. Inviting pass for Emil Kraft to run onto. Kraft's ball looked for Murphy, was cut out, and then the clearance from the defender hit Kraft and went out for an Espanyol throw. A move that broke down there. And that throw about to be taken. Roberto Fernandez, Espanyol's number 9, received it. Ball has gone back out of play, and it's Newcastle's throw, taken by Murphy on the halfway line. Gets the ball back into play quickly. Miley to Byrne. And Fabian Schär. Kraft, 35 yards out, comes in off the touchline, slipped but kept possession, then takes the ball back to Schär, and he decides to go to goalkeeper Ramsdale. Playing it forwards now, Miley to Sung Soo. Infield it comes, that was from target, wasn't it? Espanyol have it back, and then a driven shot. What a hit from Edu Esposito from 20 yards. It was backheeled to him by Roberto Fernandez, and coming onto it right foot, first time, has caught it beautifully past a diving Aaron Ramsdale into the corner of the net, mid-height. But a great goal for Espanyol, who lead at St James's Park in the 17th minute, 1-0.
I'm not too sure what Target's trying to do. I'm not too sure who he's trying to pick out, He just gives it away. But they still had work to do. Great little back heel. Some hit, isn't it? Just flies past Ramsdale, who hasn't seen any of the ball whatsoever in this opening 17 minutes. Yeah, he's got to pick the ball out of the back of the net.
Yeah, it bounced up and onto his right foot from the back heel, and I did Edu Esposito a disservice, because it was more than 20 yards. It was closer to 25 when he connected with the shot. A brilliant strike. Well, we said nothing had happened, and that was the case. But now Newcastle find themselves behind. They have won a free kick on halfway. Lewis Hall has been caught, rolled around a couple of times. In fact, he stayed down. He's on his back and he's put his hands on his face, and that gives Newcastle cause for concern. But he's up and okay, thankfully. Jacob Murphy from the free kick, out on this right hand side. Bruno back to Schär. There's not much on. Kraft makes a run in behind. Schär with typical accuracy plays the ball. Kraft struggled with the bounce.
Yeah, he was never getting there, was he?
It was into a good area, but probably not the player that you wanted running onto it. Emil Kraft tried to keep it in, couldn't do so. It's a goal kick.
Needed to put a bit more backspin on it.
So 1-0 down to Espanyol, who've already played an English team this summer. That was Southampton. Aaron Ramsdale played the full match in what was a 2-1 victory for the Spaniards last month. And a week ago, they beat Union Berlin by a 1-0, having defeated Wolfsburg by the same scoreline a few days earlier. So a double over German teams. Now looking for a double over English teams. Miley for Newcastle United. Kraft receives the ball and then drops his shoulder, goes on the outside, has to come back inside, tried to link up with Bruno. They've done well. It's rolled into the box for Jacob Murphy, who cuts it back towards Osula, but it's blocked by the defender and then cleared out for a throw next to the corner flag.
Yeah, worked as well down this right side. We're saying not a great, everything's come down the left. On this occasion we've gone down the right. Kraft's done well. Kraft
is on it again and then gets tackled but wins it back. Still on this right wing, Lewis Miley looks for space, had his head up, found a nice pass for Bruno, got it back, closed down, and it's Kraft here playing in Miley again. Moved away, then got tripped next to the halfway line, and free kick taken by Newcastle, who have it with Dan Burn and Fabian Schär in the 21st minute at St James's Park. Murphy, a burst towards the edge of the box, rolls in Osula, wide of goal. Osula lays it off to Kraft. Miley gets away from a couple of defenders, hangs up a cross, headed into the net by Matt Targett, of all people. Matt Targett, who's never scored for Newcastle United, has headed in at the Gallagher end, playing in midfield tonight, getting forwards, and on the end of the cross, hung up by Miley. They have equalised in the 21st minute. Newcastle United 1, Espanyol 1, and they have a player down in the box with a potential injury.
Yeah, it's good play again down that right side, isn't it? Murphy picks it up, loads of space, just busts into it. Osula makes the run, plays it back to Kraft. Ball's hung up, free header. Not going to miss from there, is he? 4 yards out.
Yeah, finished off by Matt Targett.
Miley's done well, just hangs it up back post. As I say, stood there, free header, gets up well, powers it past the keeper. 1-1.
He was the subject of a social media wind-up fake news thing this week, Matt Targett, from a well-known parody account that claimed he'd been accidentally left in South Korea and Newcastle didn't know until the flight had landed. Obviously that was not correct.
What a load of rubbish.
He made reference to it in a social media post of his own, with some pictures from training confirming that he was back in the northeast. But a funny week. Now has a goal added to it. 1-1 then. By the way, Brentford are playing a friendly this evening, and Johan Wissa, a target of Newcastle United's, player that wants to come to the club. You can insert your own comment there about other transfer targets, but he is not involved, and I don't think that comes as a surprise. They're playing Borussia Mönchengladbach, but he had returned to training with his teammates this week after a period of not being with them, but he's not playing Wissa for Brentford tonight. Miley and Kraft involved in a nice move on the right, Bruno as well. Newcastle still on the attack at the Gallagher end. Kraft through for Miley, and gives it back to the Swedish defender. Murphy on the corner of the area, got a man at his back, manages to get away. Kraft and Miley exchange passes, then Murphy into Bruno, and Murphy carries on his run into the box. Osula gets it, holds it up, gives it back to Bruno, drags it back, and then away into space. Espanyol got 8 outfield players in the box defending. Murphy with a shot off his left foot, which takes a big deflection and goes behind on the near side.
Yeah, no real power in the shot, was a left foot shot, but it's taken a huge deflection, spun up in the air, gone behind. Corner on this right side. Looks like Targett's coming across to this near side to whip it in with his left foot.
Already has a goal, maybe he can provide an assist. That target from this corner. It's sent into the middle of the 6-yard box, but it's an Espanyol header away. Sung Soo Park retrieves it and then beats his man, turns back on the goal line when he could have delivered, but Newcastle still have possession. Bruno to Hall. Great ball delivered by Hall into an area, but the goalkeeper comes and claims it on the 6-yard line. Thought someone was just going to throw themselves at that ball in from Hall, because it was whipped in rather than floated, but it is a
easy take for the goalkeeper, wasn't it?
One that he read. Dmitrovic came out, caught it, and now Newcastle have a free kick in their own half. Espanyol manager Manolo Gonzalez gets told off by the fourth official. He's quite animated, quite angry about something. Competitive play from Lewis Hall on the far side, under a lot of pressure, keeps Newcastle in possession. Bruno with a chip, Kraft on his chest, 20 yards out on the near side to Murphy, and then Bruno, and Miley rolled in. Lewis Miley's cross, this time straight at the keeper, whereas the last time he got it onto the head of Matt Targett for the goal. This time couldn't get the height.
Good little ball played in behind, wasn't it? Guimaraes just rolls it in, he gets there. Young Miley, but it's a poor delivery straight into the hands of the keeper. Good play again though, isn't it? Good stuff.
Miley inside to Hall in the centre circle now, moving out to the left. Target to Byrne. It's 1-1 on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. Share from halfway back to Byrne, just behind the centre circle. Bruno to Miley, back to Bruno. It's well worked under pressure, but they can't make progress up the pitch really. It's with Hall on halfway, he looks forwards. Osula tries to make the run in behind. Sung Soo Park, chance to run it. Espanyol defenders, brings it infield. Bruno to Miley, couldn't find him with a return ball. Osula then with a challenge, but it's a foul. He's had probably a frustrating night so far, William Osula.
Just a little bit.
Turned 22 a couple of days ago. Danish striker, 2 goals last season. Didn't start a Premier League match. Header away by Targett. I think they've switched it, Ando. Targett's now at left back and Hall in midfield. Ball up the line from Share for Murphy, who let it run through his legs, but a defender.
Yeah, they have. As you rightly say, Targett got the left back.
So midway through the first half, just about, that's when they made that tactical switch then. Hall and Targett. Sung Soo. Nice feet into the penalty area. Is there an end product? There's another bit of skill to beat a defender. Then a pass out wide to Targett. Hall and Targett are combining, exchanging passes. Still 1-1 as Newcastle look for another goal. Bruno on the spin, opened up his body, played it with the inside of his right foot. Espanyol brought it away, tried to clear, but Matt Targett blocked it and it went out off a player in blue and white. It's a Newcastle throw, back to Bruno, edge of the area, but his shot is over the top.
Scoops it over the top, doesn't he? Doesn't put his foot through it.
Is the score, and we've almost had 30 minutes. Newcastle and Espanyol. It's back with Ramsdale. Not had a shot to save, but was beaten by a superb strike.
Yeah, he hasn't seen the ball at all, has he? Seen none of the ball whatsoever.
Share onto Murphy, nicely laid off for Bruno. That one's behind Sung Soo Park. Bruno's down tying his bootlace. Eddie Howe and Jason Tyndall shoulder to shoulder in conversation. What is your assessment, Ando, of the opening?
We've had all the ball, haven't we? Some of the stuff's been good, especially early on. Went down that left side. We said that nothing's come down this right side, but the goal all of a sudden comes from this right side.
Here's a burst through midfield up the right from Puado, now in the penalty area, back to goal. They're looking for Fernandez on the 18-yard line, and it's worked back and wildly sent over the top. And that was a disappointing effort from Espanyol, and it was the player who scored the goal as well, Esposito.
Yeah, hit it this time with his left foot. Wasn't as good with his left foot. Puado showed a lot of pace, didn't he?
1-1. Osula helps it on. Sung Soo Park trying to get there. Here's how Newcastle look. Aaron Ramsdale in goal. Emil Kraft, Fabian Schär, Dan Burn, Lewis Hall, who's now back at left back. Midfield of Lewis Miley, Bruno Guimaraes, Matt Targett, who scored the equaliser. And then the front three, Jacob Murphy, William Osula and Sung Soo Park. Ball is in midfield with Fabian Schär, who gets past one Espanyol player and then picks out his pass. It's to Jacob Murphy on the right wing. Bruno in the box from Murphy's ball, plays the return, but it's intercepted. And then they bring it away up to Fernandez. Free kick.
They've changed again. Target's gone back into midfield. It's just going to happen, isn't it? Whoever's in that position's just going to play there.
Newcastle's bench tonight: John Ruddy, Mark Gillespie, Garang Kwol, Alex Murphy, Cathal Heffernan, Alfie Harrison, Scott Bailey, Dylan Charlton, Trevin Sanusi, Leo Shahar and Sean Neve. And Espanyol player Carlos Romero, the left back, took one in the face there. His ball forwards hit Emil Kraft and rebounded against him.
Tell you what, fair play to him. Could have very easy just gone down.
He's carried on, but he's wiping his blue and white jersey on his nose. Kraft sent wide into the corner. Back to Bruno. Miley just a couple of yards outside the penalty area. Kraft on it again. Into Miley in the box, in that position where he helped create the goal. Bruno tried to shift it onto his left for the shot. He's been tackled, and here go Espanyol. Javi Puado, the captain, out to the right wing. Ruben Sanchez crosses, and it's too close to Ramsdale, but it goes behind anyway for a goal kick. With a player arriving at the back post, not getting that. They didn't
get a lot of players forward, did they? There was only one player in the penalty area. It was going to have to be a hell of a ball to pick him out.
Ball is on the floor in the visitors' half. Newcastle kicking towards the right from our commentary position. That's the Gallagher end in the first half. Fabian Schär with it now behind halfway. They go to close him down. It's on to Bruno, shoulder to shoulder with Esposito, comes away with it. Murphy played in. Murphy really put plenty of power into that. Whether it was a cross or a shot, I don't know. When maybe it just needed a bit of finesse. He could even have taken a touch, perhaps. It's gone behind. Quite a wild.
He's gone to whip it and
connection.
It's poor.
So that will be a goal kick for Marko Dmitrovic. The Espanyol team, Dmitrovic in goal, Omar El Hilali at right back, Miguel Rubio, Leandro Cabrera and Carlos Romero. The rest of their defence: Paul Lozano, Edu Exposito, the goal scorer, and a great strike it was as well from nearly 25 yards into the corner. And Javi Puado, Ruben Sanchez, Antonio Roca and Roberto Fernandez. 10 minutes to half time. Newcastle get the ball back and go on the attack. Miley to Bruno. He's got space and Kraft on the corner of the area. Low ball in by Emil Kraft. I think it came off his heel. Fabian Schär gets first to it before Roberto Fernandez, and safely ensures the ball reaches Aaron Ramsdale, who's wearing number 32. Number 1 is vacant now. Martin Dubravka has gone, and Ramsdale last week took 32. Sung-Soo Park, who wears double that, 64. Oh, now a forward ball into a good area, and Lewis Hall taken down. It's outside the penalty area, close to the goal line, on the left, like a short corner.
Yeah. Well, he's not happy. Is this referee a homer?
I like him. I wish he could do a few more.
Oh, I tell you what. I think he is.
When you see it from a different angle and a tighter shot close up, then it looks like there wasn't any contact. It's a free kick then. It's probably in line with the 6-yard box, and it'll either be Matt Targett with his left or Jacob Murphy with his right. Sung-Soo Park is nearby on the 18-yard line. 2 Espanyol defenders form a wall. Targett clips it in, Schär heads it, and it's caught by Dmitrovic towards his left-hand post. And an overarm throw to the left wing. Edu Esposito is dispossessed, but Espanyol win it back. And Dan Burn puts pressure on from right wing and decides to close the keeper down, but it's
now he's in trouble.
Played forwards. Well, he's got a long stride, so he'll get back relatively quickly. But they're having to defend Newcastle here, and this is a promising run. A weaving run inside and out by Antonio Roca, then down in the area. Penalty given to Espanyol.
It all came about because of lack of numbers. Dan Burn goes walking, goes chasing things. All of a sudden they've got lack of numbers at the back.
I think it was Lewis Hall who made the challenge. They conceded a penalty in similar fashion against Celtic last month, and Joe Willock was the guilty party on that occasion, but the cross came in. Was it Targett or Hall? They were both there.
I don't know. That's soft, isn't it?
Well, there was a soft free kick at one end, and now a soft penalty.
That is soft.
Aaron Ramsdale, on his first appearance for Newcastle United, will try to keep out a penalty kick, but Javi Puado put one past him against Southampton earlier in pre-season. Puado, this time saved by Ramsdale. Well, that's a great introduction to your new club and new supporters, saving a penalty at St James's Park on your debut. Ramsdale got down to his right. Now it's kicking off in midfield because Newcastle tried to break, and Lewis Hall was fouled and then held back and prevented from playing on, and there's been some pushing and shoving, and Hall is continuing the argument. Yellow card shown to the Espanyol player involved, which was Leandro Cabrera. I think there's a few of them over there. It is Cabrera, but go back to the penalty save. Javi Puado,
good save.
Low down. Ramsdale was there to beat it away.
Yeah, wasn't really in the corner, was it? He guessed right. As you say, beat it away. Good stop. There was confidence, a world of good that as well, won't it?
And Puado scored both the goals when Espanyol beat Ramsdale Southampton last month. One of them was a spot kick. Not tonight though. 1-1, 5 minutes to half time on BBC Radio Newcastle. on BBC Sounds. Nice move from Antonio Roca in central midfield, but Newcastle clear the danger from the edge of the area. Sung-Soo Park then can't hold the ball when it's played up to him on halfway. So defending to be done again, and it is by Hall, blocking the cross from Ruben Sanchez. And it's a throw. A reminder that we will be with you till 10 tonight, both on BBC Radio Newcastle and on BBC Sounds after the match. And you can talk to John Anderson after the game, whether you want to discuss the match or transfers or the Alexander Isak situation. He's not involved this evening, which comes as no surprise. We will hopefully be able to bring you before 10 a post-match interview with Eddie Howe. We will be speaking to the media. There was no pre-match press conference, that's why we didn't have a pre-match interview with the manager, but he is scheduled to talk tonight and after tomorrow's game as well. Newcastle have the ball and they're breaking quickly through midfield, right of centre. Bruno to Murphy into the penalty box, heading for the goal line. Back to Bruno, crosses from the edge of the box, looking for Osula. Sung-Soo Park goes down. Michael Oliver has a decision to make and says no penalty. Then Emil Kraft with a strong challenge on Roca as Newcastle look to stay on the attack. There were some hopeful appeals for a spot kick at the end that Newcastle are attacking, but having given Espanyol a penalty, Michael Oliver said no to that Newcastle claim, and it remains 1-1. And a big kick forwards from Dimitrovic. He's got some left foot, hasn't he? Gets plenty behind it, headed away, and Espanyol with possession at the back. What about that penalty shout?
No.
Yeah. Ball is in the centre of Espanyol's half. Lots of supporters are heading inside for half time. There are some empty seats in the home sections, particularly in the corners and a little bit at the Leazes, but no level 7 tonight. Full house tomorrow though, against one of the big boys, not just of Spanish football but of the European game, Atletico Madrid. Sung-Soo Park, who started well and has continued to have decent moments. 15 yards out, skins the defender, sends in the cross. Osula can't get there. Murphy brings it down for Kraft just outside the area. Murphy with a chance to deliver a ball in himself, looking for Hall, headed away. Target nods it back into the middle, and then Espanyol through Paul Lozano get it clear, and Fabian Schär commits a foul.
Yeah, and he's complaining about it, dragging him all over the place.
Sung-Soo did well there, didn't he? Gave it a big shift and delivered the cross.
Yeah, he's had his moments, hasn't he? As I say, he's keen. He wants to get on the ball, he wants it.
He's raw as well, which you can see, but there's excitement in that. It's been a lively opening 45. Schär with another foul. Complains to the referee. Michael Oliver just puts his arms out as if to say, come on. No yellow card yet for persistent fouling, but might have been.
Would have been in the Premier League.
Yeah. It's 1-1 and we have 30 seconds remaining in the opening 45. We await news of any additional time here on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. If you want to send a message at half time, give you the numbers now as the free kick goes out for a goal kick, lifted into the box by Exposito and behind straight away. If you texting to 81333. Start your message with BBC, or on WhatsApp. Also put BBC at the start, and the number is 08000 321 333. Half time at St James's Park. Newcastle United 1, Espanyol 1, and goals at either end of St James's. Brilliant strike on the half volley from Edu Exposito, the Espanyol midfielder, with his right foot. Central position, getting on for 25 yards out, and he lashed it past Aaron Ramsdale. It whizzed into the corner. It's a great goal. Matt Targett headed Newcastle level from Lewis Miley's dinked cross from the right back into the middle of the box. Targett's been playing in midfield mostly tonight, with Hall at left back. Then Aaron Ramsdale, on his first Newcastle appearance, saved a penalty denied the Espanyol captain Javi Puado from 12 yards. So 1-1 John Anderson at the break.
Yeah, it's been quite enjoyable. It's been some good stuff. Park's been lively. He wants to get on it, wants to try and make things happen. Good to see Lewis Hall back. Good goal, good header. Target. You know, they've changed Hall and Target. When one gets forward, the other drops into left back, and vice versa. Sula's ran around up top. Yeah, it's been good.
And Sung-Soo Park.
Yeah, he's been lively, hasn't he? You know, as I say, he's keen. He wants to get on it. He wants to try and make things happen. He's a big boy. He's a big lad for 18, but he looks a confident lad as well. You can see that he's a little bit on the raw side, but promising signs. Yeah.
Played about 20 minutes as a substitute combined in Korea, 45 minutes at St James's Park, and encouraging stuff from the 18-year-old, and great introduction for Ramsdale, saving a penalty on his first Newcastle United appearance. So, second half to come here on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. At the break, this pre-season friendly is level. Newcastle United 1, Espanyol 1.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Every time I come back up home, I hear and see just how much the game is thriving.
Some of the girls are battling boys.
For me to have a World Cup opener, the fact that it's England against USA, I don't think you could have picked a better place in the country to do that.
The Women's Rugby World Cup kicks off in Sunderland later this month. I've been looking at the huge part our region has played in the history of the sport, and I've spoken to North East rugby legends, the current England captain, the tournament's managing director, and many, many more. Join me, Rebecca Harden, for a Total Sport special. Just search Total Sport World Cup on BBC Sounds.
Just ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Newcastle. Total Sport North East.
Live from St James's Park.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Simon Pride here at St James's Park. 1-1 at half-time then between Newcastle United and Espanyol. Penalty saved by Aaron Ramsdale on his first appearance for the Magpies as well. Had very little to do during the course of the match, apart from see an absolute rocket fly past him from Edu Exposito into the back of his net, and then an equaliser by Matt Targett from Newcastle after good work by Lewis Miley and others in the build-up. So 1-1 at half-time. If you want to get in touch at any time through the course of the evening, and remember, we will be on air until 10 o'clock after tonight's match, so plenty of time for you to have your say on all things Newcastle United generally, as well as the match itself. You can send us a WhatsApp message on 08000 321 333, starting your message with the letters BBC. We will be focusing a bit more on Alexander Isak. I've been speaking to quite a lot of Newcastle fans tonight about the striker and what the future holds for him, and what Newcastle United should do about Alexander Isak, so we'll do all of that after the match tonight as well. You can text 81333. Again, start your message BBC. The phone number's 0800 234 6565. Right then, let's get you up to date with what's happening in the cricket. There's more live action taking place this evening involving one of our professional sports teams here in the North East. It's Durham's cricketers in action against Somerset, and they're down in Taunton. It's a one-day cup match, Durham having won their first match of the season in this competition, and by the looks of things this one's still in the balance. Dom James can tell us exactly what's happening.
Yeah, still in the balance, but Somerset look like they're going to crawl to victory in Taunton. They need 56 off the last 11 overs. Durham won the toss, they decided to bat. However, it wasn't the best start for them. Emilio Gay out for just 7, Scott Borthwick making just 10. Colin Ackerman out for a duck, and then captain today, Ollie Robinson in place of Alex Lees made just 13. So they left them 67 for 4 after just 14 overs. Durham needed a partnership, and they certainly got one with Will Rhodes. He got a century off just 120 balls. He was partnered by youngster Hayden Mustard. He made 38. They put on 78 runs together. George Dressel, he came in, but he went just for 8 runs. Paul Coughlin was the next man in, and he upped the tempo for Durham. And Will Rhodes, with him and Will Rhodes, with 11 overs just left to go, they put on 58, a partnership of 58 together, and Will Rhodes was dismissed with just 4 overs to go. Coughlin went soon after for 38. Mitch Killeen and James Minto were the last 2 left in, and they got Durham up to a total of 255 for 9. Somerset have crawled towards victory. No one really putting up a great score apart from Tom Rue, who was 62 off 63 balls. Somerset basically knew they needed less than run a ball to get to their target, and they now just need 49 off 10.1 overs.
Thank you very much indeed, Dom. We will keep you up to date with what is happening in that match here at St James's Park. Lewis Hall is going through a vigorous warm down, so that would suggest that he's coming off at half time. Alex Murphy is on the bench for Newcastle. It remains to be seen who comes on for him if he does go off. Elsewhere in the world of football, well, Birmingham are playing Ipswich Town in the Championship curtain raiser. Quite a game that, 2 of the teams who are favourites to be promoted this season. Birmingham having just come up and Ipswich having just gone down. And that one kicked off at 8 o'clock, and the latest score is still goalless in the Scottish Championship, goalless between Ross County and St Johnstone as well. Sunderland are in advanced talks now over signing a defender by the name of Arthur Masuaku on a 2-year deal. He's 31 years old. He's a free agent, having left Besiktas in the summer after 3 years in Turkey. You might remember him from West Ham. He played in the Premier League for them, making 128 appearances. He's a Congolese international, and he would, if he goes to Sunderland, be their 9th signing of the summer. Elsewhere, Aston Villa have completed the signing of the Nice striker Evan Gesson for £26 million plus add-ons, and the Crystal Palace boss Oliver Glasner is positive. He says that the club will be successful in their appeal against demotion from the Europa League to the Conference League. That one's still a little bit up in the air. In rugby union, new signing for the Newcastle Falcons, a Japanese international player, Amanaki Mafi, a 1-year deal for him. He's a back rower, and he joins from the Japanese top league side Cannon Eagles. The BBC signed a broadcast deal with Boxer, which will mean world-class professional boxing returns to prime-time television and the BBC iPlayer. The BBC will air fights from selected events on BBC TV, as well as on iPlayer and the BBC Sport website. And the Berwick Bandits are in action tonight. They're at Redcar in Speedway's Championship. They got underway at 7:30, and I'm going to be honest, I'm not expecting anybody back in the studio to give me a latest score in that one in my ear. If they do, I would see that as a bonus. Dramatic pause, nope. But we'll update you later on with a result in that one. It is Friday evening, and we're back to the 2-hour shows, and the Premier League season starts very soon, and the EFL is already underway. So with it being a Friday evening, that means the return of the one and only Friday night bookmaker Chris Jones. Good evening, Jonesy.
Good evening, Brady. It's good to be back, isn't it?
You actually sound like you mean that as well. I
actually do. Honestly, the pre-season's just so boring and all that, so it's great, we're literally, the Premier League just round the corner.
How's your summer been, Chris?
It's been all right, yeah, I mean, to be fair, England, yeah, women winning the Euros, that was good, wasn't it? So
you lot have had to pay out on that. I would have thought there'd have been a bit of money going for them, was there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but in all, it's been decent. You know, we've had Royal Ascot, so we've done all right. But it's
you always do.
I've managed to get a holiday in as well, so it can't be too bad, can it?
Excellent. Well, yeah, being a bookmaker, you'll have been to a luxury. You've had your own island on the Maldives or something, won't you, for 3 weeks, knowing you?
Nah, not quite. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, you know me, like literally self-catering. That's it.
That'll do the job anyway. Glad you had a break. Listen, let's get down to business. And obviously no competitive matches for our teams this weekend, but a good opportunity to talk about the season outright betting and how the whole season will go. I mean, what do the odds look like for those teams most likely to win the Premier League? I imagine with their activity, and I think won it last year, Liverpool are hot favourites.
Yeah, if you think about it, I mean, obviously Liverpool did win it comfortably last season, didn't it? Was it 9 points or something? But I mean, 7-4 Liverpool to win it again. Arsenal 11-5. It was interesting when I was looking at Arsenal. They had 14 draws last season. That was the second most. Only Everton had more draws last season in the Premier League. So if they can turn them draws into wins, potentially that could be a good price. 11-5 for Arsenal. You know, everyone still think it's got to remember Man City 16-5, and then you've got Chelsea. They're 17-2. What's interesting is Man United are ahead of Newcastle. So Man United are 22-1 and Newcastle 40-1.
40-1.
500-1 because we can't go any bigger than 500-1 after Leicester.
That's ridiculous. Some bookies are going bigger than that. I've seen 1,000, I've seen 2,000 even. But you're not doing that. That's a policy. Well, that's what Leicester did to us poor punters, I guess.
Exactly,
anyway,
yeah,
okay. So Sunderland, I imagine then between those odds to win the title will be relatively short odds for relegation. How do you see the bottom three market?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same every season, isn't it? You know, it's literally the teams that come up, that you think are going to be the ones that's going to go down. So you're not be surprised. I mean, Burnley, they're 1-3. Leeds, they're 23-20. Sunderland, they're second favourites to go down at 2-5, which means a 7-4 to stay up. I think what I found quite interesting, though, like on a more positive side for Sunderland, I was looking at top half for Sunderland, because a lot of Sunderland fans have been saying that this top half 16-1. Now that's not bad, really, is it? You know, when you think about it, I think 16-1, because when you take probably the top sort of 8 teams off and all that, there's not much in the rest of the teams.
What about, I don't know if you've got odds for the Golden Boot. I was looking at it earlier and what price Alexander Isak might be, and he's still quite a short price in the betting, despite the fact we don't know where he's going to be playing next season. Yeah,
I mean, you've got to remember this is very much based on the fact that we've got AFCON as well. That's going to affect it, isn't it? So that's why, I mean, Salah's 9-2. He's second favourite, but he's potentially going to be missing for a good few weeks due to AFCON and all that. Haaland, obviously, he's not going to be playing AFCON. He's 6-5 favourite. Gyökeres, he's 6-1. He's also 6-1 as well. So it's an interesting one, really. It's more a case of like Salah would be shorter if it wasn't for the AFCONs.
I'm conscious that the second half's going to start fairly shortly, so you'd better get on to giving us a horse, I reckon, Chris.
Yeah, let's try and get off to a good start. So we're going to go in the 4:30 at Ascot tomorrow. It's Arasig. It's a Shergar Cup. It'll be wearing green. That's all I can tell you, because basically it's a team event. So they'll be wearing different colours to what they normally do. But Arasig 6-1 in the 4:30 at Ascot tomorrow. Let's hope we'll get a good start.
And you're going to be choosing this season's Friday night game, so you'll do that next week, Chris.
I will do. I'll have a look to see if I can come up with something yet. I haven't come up with anything yet, no.
Okay, Chris, pleasure talking to you, as ever. Yeah. We'll talk to you again next week.
Yeah, thanks so much, Simon. Cheers now.
That's Chris Jones, our Friday night bookmaker. John Ruddy's going to come on in the second half for Newcastle. Lewis Hall's going to go off. He's been doing his warm down, so we will see what other changes might be made very shortly. The second half will be getting underway very soon, so Reza and Anda will take you through that second half. Let's just remind you what happened in the first.
Half-time highlights.
Total Sport Northeast.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Espanyol have it back, and then a driven shot. What a hit from Edu Esposito from 20 yards. It was backheeled to him by Roberto Fernandez, and coming onto it right foot first time, has caught it beautifully. Great goal for Espanyol, who lead at St James's Park in the 17th minute, 1-0. Miley gets away from a couple of defenders, hangs up a cross, headed into the net by Matt Targett. Of all people, Matt Targett who's never scored for Newcastle United, has headed in at the Gallagher end, playing in midfield tonight, getting forwards, and on the end of the cross, hung up by Miley. They have equalised in the 21st minute. Newcastle United 1, Espanyol 1.
Total Sport Northeast.
Matthew Raisbeck and black and white legend John Anderson.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
One half-time change for Newcastle. Lewis Hall has been replaced. 45 minutes, still on his comeback from injury. Matt Targett's gone to left back, and Alfie Harrison has been brought on by Eddie Howe, the midfielder signed last year from the Manchester City Academy. He will play on the left of the midfield three. There's been a couple of changes for Espanyol. The goalkeeper, Angel Fortunio, has come on to replace Marko Dimitrovic in between the posts, and Kike Garcia, the 35-year-old striker, once at Middlesbrough, has replaced Antonio Roca for the visitors in outfield positions, and he's gone into the attack, but only 2 alterations. And this is always the part of pre-season, Ando, that gets complicated when the changes start to be made in
when you get
multiples.
to the 60th minute.
Yeah. 1-1 then. BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. Sung Soo Park, nice bit of skill there, stuck out his leg to drag the ball back and then find a Newcastle teammate under a bit of pressure, and it's helped over by Bruno to the far side. United shooting towards the Leazes end, that's towards the left from our position, and they're in their navy and orange third kit. That is navy, isn't it? Just about.
Yeah.
Espanyol in blue and white stripes. Harrison, who's blonde-haired and small, buzzes around in midfield, likes to get on it. Involved with a couple of passes there. And Matt Targett now has a throw to take about 35 yards out. Sung Soo Park makes a run in off the left wing. It's cleared from the edge of the penalty area. Miley now to Kraft. And Murphy finds Bruno. Murphy again, edge of the area. Osula wants it in the box. It's helped through towards Osula, but it ran under his feet. And goalkeeper Fortunio lets the ball run, then picks it up, then ends up in a bit of a pushing situation with William Osula. The keeper's throw was collected by Newcastle, and they have it with Emil Kraft in the centre circle. Harrison on, but Osula not on the end of it. Forwards now to the Espanyol striker Roberto Fernandez. Looks like he's playing a slightly deeper role in the second half, with Kike Garcia having come on. Alfie Harrison pulled back by the aforementioned Fernandez, and it's a free kick which Newcastle have taken. 48th minute. Fabian Schär, bit of a short pass, gets it back from Bruno, who had to scoop it up and away from an opponent. Schär then drives it forward. Osula's not going to get that. Fortunio comes to the side of the penalty area, keeps the ball moving, and it's into the Newcastle half. Could be handball against Kike Garcia. It is. Newcastle line up like this for the second half. Ramsdale in goal, Kraft, Schär, Byrne, Targett. Midfield of Bruno, Miley and Harrison, and the front three, Murphy, Osula and Sung Soo Park. And it's Bruno to Harrison. First time ball goes back to Miley. thought about playing it to this near left-hand side, instead goes out to the right. Osula to Harrison on the edge of the area. Move has broken down. Miley slides in, stops the counter-attack. And Ruben Sanchez,
scrappy, isn't it? From both sides.
Gets the ball back and then plays a back pass to the keeper. In possession on the edge of the penalty area, Espanyol, with Angel Fortunio in goal. And we'll go through the rest of their team once this move comes to an end, which it does. Ramsdale collects a long ball forward. Omar El Hilali at right back, Miguel Rubio, Leandro Cabrera, Carlos Romero, Paul Lozano, Edu Exposito. Newcastle look for Sung Soo, but it's back to the goalkeeper. Ruben Sanchez, Javi Puado, who had the penalty saved by Ramsdale in the first half, Roberto Fernandez and Kike Garcia. Miley, who had a good first half, commits a foul on halfway, stopping Garcia coming away with the ball. The atmosphere is quite flat, isn't it, at this point, which is standard for this sort of warm-up match, particularly one that doesn't have a lot of big names in it and hasn't seen a lot of exciting action in the penalty boxes. That's Paul Lozano, who disagreed with the decision to give Newcastle a throw at left back and then kicked a spare ball away. No further action taken.
He had a point.
Ramsdale's got it on the 6-yard line. He's under pressure there and just released the ball in time. Found Kraft. Played back by Murphy. Newcastle have lost it, but there's an offside flag up to deny Espanyol their chance to shoot. That's 6 minutes of football in the second half, and some visiting substitutes are warming up near to the corner to our left. This is William Osula, 20 yards out, space to shoot, deflected, up and in towards the goalkeeper, Fortunio, who pushed it away to his left-hand side. Might have been Murphy who deflected it. He was running across Osula, was struck powerfully. And it's an attempt from Newcastle in this early part of the second half, but still 1-1.
Yeah, Puado has given it away again. Missed the penalty. He hasn't had the best of nights as the skipper.
Big play.
Good save by the keeper, mind. As you say, it's taking the deflections, going away from him. Got strong hands to it.
Javi Puado is a big player for them. He got 12 goals last season, as well as being the captain and midfielder. But denied from 12 yards. This first half penalty. Ramsdale with a save. Bruno has been dispossessed in midfield. And Exposito is tripped by Alfie Harrison just inside the centre circle. Here come some of the Newcastle substitutes. All of the outfield players are academy boys, probably with the exception of Alex Murphy, who's played twice competitively for the senior team and has been involved a lot throughout pre-season. Espanyol into the penalty area on the left, looking for Kike Garcia with a cross that's blocked. It's come back to Puado, who put it in initially. Dan Burn with a diving header clear from another cross, this time from Carlos Romero. And it's going to be a throw about 10 yards out. 1-1. Kraft heads away. Bruno turns nicely, Murphy's got it. Osula's there, lays it off, but it's intercepted. Harrison attempts to win it back. Espanyol think that was a foul. Michael Oliver says no, and Newcastle through Bruno on the move. Osula just outside the penalty area. Nice turn, left of centre. Osula back to Bruno, who got it out of his feet but was then dispossessed by Esposito. And Osula's tripped one of Espanyol's players on the edge of the box. And I think for that they've been given the free kick, haven't they? Yeah. Didn't hear the whistle, but it is a free kick. In play. Here goes Omar El Hilali, and a challenge on Lewis Miley. It was a strong one from Paul Lozano. Nothing given. Miley's got back up and is on the ball now, left side of central midfield, holds off Roberto Fernandez and gives it to Fabian Schär. Up the line it goes. Murphy moving in towards the box, passes it to Bruno on the 18-yard line. Murphy again, now back to Miley, wide to Kraft. Osula and Sung Soo Park, the only players in the box. Target to Sung Soo, skips away from El Hilali and moves back into the middle, gave it away, and then it hit the referee and the whistle's gone. Espanyol will be given the ball back. Defender jumped in then, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, it's all gone really flat.
Minutes second half action, still 1-1. Listen to BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. And a reminder, tomorrow we will be...
I hope there's about 20 minutes added on.
What, tonight or tomorrow?
Yeah, no, tonight.
Do you want 20 minutes more of this? Tomorrow, 4 o'clock.
Pridey'd be absolutely delighted if there's 20 minutes added.
Well, we're staying on till 10 tonight, and that will hopefully include an Eddie Howe post-match interview, maybe one from a player as well.
No pressure on you, Razor, to go and get an interview.
Well, we speak to him after every match, but one thing we can't control is the exact timing of it, that's all. Tomorrow, build-up will start at 3. And we'll have an hour to discuss whatever Eddie Howe says, any latest transfer developments, and look ahead to Atletico Madrid, Spanish giants, who will be here at 4 o'clock kickoff. The commentary once again on the radio, BBC Radio Newcastle, and available tomorrow on the BBC Sounds app too, just like tonight's. Miss no action, ball's in midfield. Espanyol playing it now into Newcastle's half. A back heel by Roberto Fernandez. That's how he set up the goal, but that time his back heel went straight to Dan Burn, and it's out wide to Emil Kraft. There will be further Espanyol changes shortly. Murphy and Kraft exchanging passes. Murphy's ball into the box. There's nobody there in Newcastle Navy, so Espanyol have it, and then the goalkeeper,
it's offside,
goes long. Kike Garcia stopped by the assistant's flag. Fabian Schär restarts the match. This game, by the way, is not part of the Seller Cup. Last year, Newcastle played Girona on the Friday in a standalone friendly that wasn't for silverware, and then played the Seller Cup match on the Saturday, which was against Brest of France. And it's very much that situation tonight. So a friendly, and then tomorrow is about the Seller Cup, which is the pre-season tournament sponsored by a pre-season game, trophy sponsored by Newcastle's front of shirt partner, Seller, the Saudi entertainment company. Bruno scooped a ball into the box that the goalkeeper comes and claims. It was lifted in from deep by Bruno. And the ball's back on the floor, just inside the Espanyol penalty area. Sent forwards, chested down by Ruben Sanchez, playing on this near side, the Espanyol right. Jacob Murphy wins possession. 2 years ago, the first Seller Cup was a tournament involving 4 teams, but they haven't persisted with that. So no trophy presentation this evening. That will come tomorrow. Sung Soo Park whips it in, right-footed from the left from 20 yards. And there are a couple of Newcastle players attacking it, but it bounces into the hands of Angel Fortunio. Oof. And Ramsdale on the 18-yard line takes a touch from a forward pass. It's now at the feet of Fabian Schär. Bruno. Turns and passes it to Miley. Bruno gets it from Miley again, right side of Newcastle's attack. Now Osula, edge of the area. Ball's bobbling around. Osula's found Murphy, who comes wide and away from goal, keeps the ball. Miley plays it back to Murphy, then goes on the outside. They're 20 yards out here, Newcastle, with the score still locked at 1-1. Harrison to Byrne, and Bruno to Murphy, but given away, then won back by Byrne, back to Schär on halfway.
Yeah, Kiki Garcia gives it away again.
Byrne in the centre circle, tries to get Sung Soo Park in, intercepted though by El Hilali, and he looks for Roberto Fernandez, but it was an overhit pass. Double change for Espanyol. We're going to see
very sloppy, isn't it?
Tyrese Dolan, only English player in Espanyol's squad. There's a free transfer this summer after his contract with Blackburn Rovers expired. And he comes on for Ruben Sanchez, and the goal scorer Edu Esposito is coming off. And he is replaced by Ramon Terrats. Newcastle United change about to be made. Now we are going to see Sean Neve. And Neve replaces Sung Soo Park, who has impressed St James's Park crowd in his first appearance here. Ando, they like what they saw from the 18-year-old.
Yeah, he's done all right, hasn't he? Big, strong boy.
William Osula's come out to the left wing. Sean Neve's gone up front. Target caught by Dolan in his first action since coming on. Target sold a bit short with a pass. Free kick given, nothing more. Sean Neve is 18 years of age. He was on the bench from around February this year, quite regularly, including at Wembley. Made his first appearance for the senior team as a substitute at Celtic in a friendly last month. But a Geordie striker, doing well in the academy. He spent quite a while now around the first team squad. But Callum Wilson's gone. Alexander Isak, well, we just don't know, but we know what the player wants. Leaves Newcastle with only William Osula and Sean Neve. We've also got Ben Parkinson, who's been both in the under-21s and the first team squad. And tomorrow, and probably Anthony Gordon up front against Atletico.
Yeah, you would think so, wouldn't you?
Neves done well there. He's won the ball for Harrison on the left of the attack, but then it's brought away by the visitors. And more of the academy boys doing some stretches in the corner. We might see a few more. 64 minutes have been played here on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. There's a pass into space on the left for Carlos Romero, cross blocked by Fabian Schär. And Bruno to Kraft. The return ball from Kraft asked a lot of Bruno, and it's collected by the Spaniards. And they made another change, by the way. Fernando Calero has come on at centre-back, and here he is on the ball. See, I warned you, didn't I? All these changes in pre-season, you can miss them, and I did. Missed that one. Dan Burn dispossesses Roberto Fernandez near to halfway, and Osula on a nice run, but then tried to do one step over too many, really. Got tackled. Harrison slid in to try and keep the move alive, and it's with the goalkeeper, Fortunio. Eddie Howe there with outstretched arms, looking quizzically at some of his players. Long ball forward through the middle. Ramsdale leaves the penalty box to pass it on to Kraft. Espanyol gets started next Sunday in La Liga. They play Atletico Madrid, Newcastle's opponents, tomorrow. It's their first match, then they go to Real Sociedad, which is where Alexander Isak was last week, back at his former club, training alone with some personal fitness staff. Quique Garcia with a layoff towards halfway, and then it's brought into central midfield by Espanyol. Lozano back to Calero. And El Hilali on halfway. There's space here for Fernandez, and he's threaded it through, looking for the run of Dolan. Burns come across. And Target wins a free kick, foul by Dolan, who not long after joining Blackburn played here in 2020 in the League Cup. Newcastle beat Blackburn 1-0 that night. In the Steve Bruce era, Ryan Fraser scored the goal. And Dolan also played in that FA Cup tie, which is now, it was last year, but 2 seasons ago at Ewood Park. One that went to penalties. Newcastle were successful in the shootout. Alfie Harrison across central midfield, still in his own half. 3 more Espanyol changes are coming. No activity on the Newcastle bench at the moment. And the big Irish centre-back Cathal Heffernan is the only player out warming up right now. 68 minutes. Emil Kraft. Lewis Miley comes to get it off him. On to Bruno. First time looking for Murphy. It's gone for a goal kick.
Second half's been a non-event, doesn't it? No great deals happen.
Javi Puado is leaving the pitch, and his penalty saved by Aaron Ramsdale in the first half. Joffrey Carreras replaces him. Also leaving the pitch for Espanyol, Roberto Fernandez, and he is replaced by Pere Mia. And their final change of the three sees Carlos Romero, the left back, leaving the pitch. He's the player on loan from Villarreal for a second season, and Jose Salinas, who's a new player for Espanyol, signed from Elche, who he helped win promotion to La Liga last season, and then duly departed. Elche joined Espanyol. 3 changes to add to the ones they made earlier. Still 1-1. 20 minutes to go. What are you looking to get out of the last 20 minutes, Ando?
More than we got out of the opening 25.
Or the opening 70.
Yeah, I mean, I quite enjoyed the first half. Second half's been a little bit of a non-event, to be quite honest. Not a great deal has happened. Both sides have been sloppy on the ball.
Bruno's done well there. Got away from a couple of challenges, but then tried to ride a couple more. He's been tackled and has stayed down on his knees. Slowly picks himself up. Espanyol move the ball towards the right wing, but then go back to centre half, and then the goalkeeper. 1-1. I know we were light-hearted about it, but how much of an impact does the frequent nature and the number of substitutions that are made in friendlies like this actually affect the game from a player's point of view, never mind as a spectacle? Or Bruno, lovely turn away from 2, 25 yards out, still got it. Bruno wins a free kick in a central position. They couldn't get the ball off him, so they had to stop him by fouling.
Yeah, all the substitutions don't help. I mean, we haven't made that many, to be fair. Still, the majority of the starting 11 are out there. Free kick, middle of the 35 yards out. Share, target, Murphy all over it.
This is pushing 30 yards, though, isn't it?
A bit more, maybe.
Yeah. There's a new member of staff at the edge of the technical area. Jason Tyndall, who would normally go out for set pieces, is standing back. Martin Mark, who joined the club this summer as the first set piece coach, is watching on and has been passing on some instructions. I wonder if they've got anything clever planned, something creative. Murphy and Target. Murphy side on, rolls the ball back to Target, who clips it in. It's brought down by Cher, who had the shot, which was saved in the 6-yard box. Keeper was off his line, out of his goal, but made the stop. Harrison's got it back though on the left wing, combines with Neve. Still the young midfielder. Passes it to Osula, then gets it from Miley. Harrison to Osula again. Running out of room here, Newcastle. Nice touch from Harrison. Osula then is challenged and the ball goes behind from 20 yards for a Newcastle corner on the left. The attendance is given as 30,782. So not full even in the lower bowl, but still a very healthy crowd for a pre-season match. 1-1 with 17 to play. Jacob Murphy, right-footed corner from Newcastle's left-hand side. Lee's end. Into the 6-yard box, pushed away by Fortunio. Neve looked forward edge of the area. Harrison busy. Keeps them alive on the attack with Cher. And then Murphy, another cross from this near side, headed out. Target fouled. In an aerial challenge, and that was Pere Mia.
Yeah, he's looking at the referee saying, what have I done? Well, he just jumped straight into him.
And the new set-piece coach, Martin Mark, who is from Denmark, he's back out there. It's Murphy and Target again. Now this one's about the same distance from the goal, but it's more towards the left, but still in the central part of the pitch. Target just scoops it in, and it's headed away. Harrison, a couple of headers, then a challenge. He's competing for the ball, but Espanyol come away with it on the far side. BBC Radio Newcastle, live at St James's Park, also on the BBC Sounds app. United 1, Espanyol 1. If you want to send us a message about the match, if you're on Twitter or X, at BBC Newcastle is who to tag. Or if you prefer WhatsApp, put BBC at the start, and the number is 08000 321 333. 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp, but you must start it with the letters BBC. Misplaced pass by Harrison in midfield. Chance for Espanyol to go forwards. Tyrese Dolan, who is quick and tricky, and he's looking to use his speed and skill here. He plays a ball forwards. It's scrambled behind for a corner. I think it was Harrison who gave it away initially. He got back, and it looks like he had the final touch. Corner kick on the left, and Martin Mark is back at the edge of the technical area, and this time with his hands together, and he's shouting some instructions through his hands towards the Newcastle penalty area. Everybody's come back to defend. It's a right-footed corner from Dolan. A couple of Espanyol headers across the box. Bruno's got it on his chest. It's been forced into the corner. And he's turned it clear and actually won a throw. Last touch of a blue and white shirt. The goals came in the first half. Espanyol through Edu Esposito on the half volley, terrific strike from 25 yards. And then Matt Target, Newcastle's equaliser, with a header from about 6 yards after Lewis Miley hung up a cross. Aaron Ramsdale saved a penalty before the break. In the second half, William Osula had a deflected shot saved, and Fabian Schär's had one saved as well following a set piece. There's Osula trying to run up the left wing, but a heavy touch carries it behind, and it has been a frustrating night for him, John Anderson.
Yeah, it's been frustrating. I mean, he's played through the middle, now he's playing on this left side.
Which, to be fair to him, is not his position, but he played a bit at right wing last season. Espanyol, short balls out from the back, they've lost it, and Newcastle take the lead for the first time tonight. Jacob Murphy profiting after some risky play at the back from the Spaniards. It came to Murphy in the box, and as the goalkeeper advanced, he slotted it underneath him. Jacob Murphy, Newcastle's top scorer in pre-season, has his third goal of the summer. And in the 78th minute, Newcastle United 2, Espanyol 1.
Yeah, he won't go any softer, will he? It's awful.
Harrison put the pressure on, and the mistake was from Ramon Terrats.
Terrats just rolls it to him.
He played straight to Murphy.
Put that in the back of the net.
And I think the ball, did it clip the base of the post as Murphy slotted it low as the keeper came out? But that's 2-1. And something has happened in the second half. Target now back to Ramsdale. Takes a touch, chips it forwards. Harrison's header has gone backwards. And Espanyol on the attack, but Newcastle bodies protect the goal, so it's back to El Hilali. And now chipped forwards, but an offside flag. The ball from Leandro Cabrera for the run of Pierre Mia. Flag up on the near side from Stuart Burt, the assistant referee. 11 minutes of normal time to go. And remember, we're with you till 10 tonight. And we'd like your messages about Newcastle United. And as soon as we have our post-match interview with Eddie Howe, we will bring that to you here on BBC Radio Newcastle and the BBC Sounds app. Fabian Schär over to Jacob Murphy. Ball in behind, stretching the Espanyol defence. Sean Neve trying to get on the end of it, but Fortunio dives at his feet and claims. The visitors will be making further changes shortly. Newcastle have Leo Shahar, Trevin Sanusi and Garang Kwol warming up. Espanyol throw at left back. Lifted forwards into United's half. Kraft's header, Bruno on towards Harrison. Miley stabs it forwards. The visitors have got it, trying to make something happen here. Joffre Carreras. Aaron Ramsdale picks it up. It's 3 players in blue and white ready to come on next time the ball goes out. Burn up to Harrison. Couldn't keep it under control. Then Target looks long for Neve. He's got 3 defenders around him. Dolan on his chest, and then Target with a good header back to Ramsdale from about 25 yards from Newcastle's goal. They lead 2-1 and have come from behind tonight. Harrison back to Schär. 8.5 minutes of the 90 remain. There's big Dan Burn. Matt Target, first time inside to Lewis Miley, then back to Target, and then across to Kraft. Murphy's got loads of space in the attacking half. Here he goes up the right wing, sends in the cross. Neve couldn't connect properly with the header, might have come off his back or his shoulder under pressure from a defender, and away towards the halfway line. Burn onto Harrison and straight back to the big man. Osula comes short for it. Burn goes inside instead to Schär. Neve had a chance with a header at Celtic right at the end of the match, and it was saved on the line by the goalkeeper in his first Newcastle appearance. And here tonight he's thrown himself at a cross but couldn't connect properly. At the other end, tidy play from Ramsdale, controlled a back pass on his chest and played it forwards into midfield. Espanyol have won it back though, looking for an equaliser. Harrison dispossesses Mia in the final third. Ramsdale out to Bruno, on to Miley, and still the 3 Espanyol replacements wait to come on. They've been there a good few minutes. Osula with a nutmeg away from El Hilali, who pulled him down. Now the changes will be made. And coming off, Paul Lozano to be replaced by Rafael Bauza. Also coming on, Pablo Ramon. And he replaces Omar El Hilali. And the final change sees Leandro Cabrera leave the pitch, and on comes Roger Hinojo.
And number 23, Omar El Hilali, coming off to replace by number 4.
Newcastle 2, Espanyol 1 on BBC Radio Newcastle. Six minutes to play. Burn to Ramsdale. Out to Kraft. Murphy back towards Kraft, but they've lost possession. Dolan was tripped by Bruno. Stops the Espanyol attack at the expense of a free kick on the far left-hand side, but 35 yards out. They're sending players up from the back, though. And here comes the delivery. Terrat sends it in towards the penalty spot, headed out, and a throw on the near side. Newcastle still having to defend. We're still leading by 2-1. Pablo Ramon, former Real Madrid B-team player, takes the throw, and then a cross into the box. Ramsdale came,
he bottled it,
and then the defenders let it go. Ramsdale didn't come and catch or punch, and Pere Mia didn't go for it either.
Fancy it, did he?
And it's a goal kick.
Yeah, if he had have attacked that, he could have been in. He sees the keeper coming and goes, "No, I'm not having that."
Were they right?
And then he kicks the post.
Were they right to let it go, Ramsdale? Chermy, obviously they
well,
had
it was in the end.
Yeah, a better view of it. Forward ball hits the top of the defender's head. Neve runs after it, but there are covering players. And Espanyol go in search of an equaliser, not wanting to leave Tyneside with a defeat. Dolan loses out there in a challenge. Miley up to Murphy, can't find Harrison. Here's Tyrese Dolan, takes on the shot. Ramsdale, diving save. Wasn't quite at the top corner, but it was rising. And the new goalkeeper got up and pushed it round his right-hand post.
Yeah, good stop, wasn't it? Good hit. It's gone away from him. As you say, it's not right in the corner, but he's still got to get there. Strong hands, pushed it around the post.
Here's the corner, an out swinger, left-footed, headed across the penalty area, then a shot into the side netting from Rafael Bauza. Ramsdale has a goal kick to take. He's going to let Fabian Schär do it.
Go short.
To Ramsdale.
No, the Kraft.
They've played it forwards. I mean, it's difficult to judge Ramsdale in terms of distribution. Miley there with the forward ball blocked, and then he's made sure Newcastle stay in possession by getting it back to Dan Burn. Here's Osula and Target, and looking for Neve. Obviously that was an impressive save there, and the penalty stop for Ramsdale. Bruno lifts it over one opposing player, can't get past another. Espanyol have it. Dan Burn commits a foul. Michael Oliver, the referee, blows his whistle. But when the ball has gone back to him on the occasions that it has, it's certainly comfortable. You can see that, but
it's comfortable at his feet, isn't he?
It's hard to really give any sort of deeper analysis than that, isn't it, given the nature of the match. Espanyol into the area. Target comes across, uses his body to defend it well.
Great defending. He's done well tonight, Target. He obviously got the first goal, but his overall play has been decent.
We'll take a throw now for Newcastle. 2 minutes to play. Espanyol, the latest Spanish team to come here. Girona last summer, Villarreal 2 years ago. 2022 they played Rayo Vallecano just before Christmas when the World Cup was on, and Athletic Bilbao that summer. Atletico Madrid tomorrow. Here are Espanyol, and they're going to leave with a draw because they've just equalised. And Newcastle, with a late goal conceded, a header from a chipped cross towards the near post. Ramsdale beaten for the second time tonight.
Kike Garcia, was it?
2-2. It's Kike Garcia, the experienced 35-year-old half-time substitute, got his head to that after they got in on the right. Newcastle United 2, Espanyol 2. Just adjusted his
yeah, he did, didn't he? Adjusted
neck.
His feet well, adjusted his neck as well, as you say,
to steer it in. So those teams I listed off, Girona, Villarreal, Rayo Vallecano, Athletic Bilbao, were all beaten by Newcastle, but this one, with 30 seconds to play, is surely going to end all square, unless they can get a last gasp winner. Target looking for Harrison, and they've lost it in midfield. 10 seconds to play, all eyes on Michael Oliver and the fourth official. There will be no additional time. So that late goal from Kike Garcia, the ex-Middlesbrough man, means that it finishes 2 apiece at St James's Park tonight. Newcastle with still only one win in pre-season, and that was against Carlisle at the training ground behind closed doors. But another draw after 1-1 with Spurs last week. 2-2 tonight against Espanyol. Looked like Jacob Murphy's goal was going to win it for them after Newcastle capitalised on some slack play at the back from the visitors, but it wasn't to be the winner, and level at half-time following the great strike from Edu Exposito on the half volley. Matt Target headed in Newcastle's leveller, then Aaron Ramsdale saved a penalty. 2 goals in the second half as well, 1 for each team, and all square. John Anderson, bit of a shame for them not to win. Not that it really matters too much, but last-minute goal, never nice to concede.
Yeah, I mean, the second half was a little bit of a non-event. There wasn't a great deal of pace to the pace of the second half. Both sides were sloppy, kept giving the ball away. I mean, I suppose our second goal proves that, trying to play out from the back, give it away on your own penalty spot area, and you know Murphy's not going to get a softer goal all season. But you know, look, it's a walkout. They've got 90 minutes in it. He didn't make a great deal of substitutions, to be fair, and it'll be interesting to see what 11 he puts out tomorrow.
And an important point that you've just made there about the squad and the way that it's used. There are lots of big names who weren't involved tonight: Pope, Trippier, Livramento, Botman, Lascelles, Tonali, Joelinton, Elanga, Gordon, Barnes. We would hope to see those players. We're not certain on Botman because of the injury that he had, but they've got big names to bring in tomorrow for what will be a tougher test against one of the best teams in Europe. So they have to split the squad over 2 days, and that's why the team that they had tonight was set up the way that it was.
Yeah, it was, yeah. I mean, tomorrow, as I say, be interesting to see. You would think Pope will come in, Livramento and Trippier will probably be fullbacks. Lascelles and Botman, if Botman's fit. Joelinton, Tonali, Elanga, Gordon, Barnes. You would expect all of them to play. Not too sure who the other midfield player is going to be, mine.
Might play 2.
Yeah, might do.
Play with a back 5.
Could do. I mean, he didn't bring Heffernan on, he didn't bring Murphy on, so they could be in line to start tomorrow. We'll just have to wait and see.
We'll be live from 3 o'clock from St James's Park on BBC Radio Newcastle tomorrow. You can hear us on BBC Sounds as well, wherever you are. for build-up, and then 4 o'clock commentary on Newcastle United versus Atletico Madrid. Diego Simeone's team coming to Tyneside. Champions League regulars, one of the top teams in Spain and on the continent. At 1 o'clock tomorrow, the women play Atletico Madrid's women's team. So there are 2 matches here, both competing for the pre-season Seller Cup trophy. But tonight we are with you till 10. Simon Pride will be back in a moment to go through some of your messages on WhatsApp. You can contact us on 08000 321 333. 08000 321 333. Put the letters BBC at the start of your message to ensure that we receive it. You can send us a voice note on WhatsApp as well, if you like. Or if you want to text, it's 81333. You must put BBC at the start of a text message too. We're going to speak to Eddie Howe soon, and we will aim to bring that interview to you well before 10 o'clock. Hear what the manager has to say about pre-season, but perhaps most importantly about transfers and Alexander Isak. Matt Targett in the first half with an equaliser, then Aaron Ramsdale with a penalty save on his first Newcastle appearance. Jacob Murphy put them 2-1 up, but a late leveller for Espanyol means tonight's friendly at St James's Park, the first part of a pre-season double-header on Tyneside, has finished. Newcastle United 2, Espanyol 2.
In Destination X, 13 players compete for £100,000. All they have to do is guess where in the world they are. Easy, right? Wrong. You see, they're on a bus that's driving through France. Or maybe it's Germany. Wait, was that the Leaning Tower of Pisa? They don't know who or what to trust. Sometimes they can't even believe their own eyes. I love it. Welcome to Destination X, the new game show where nowhere is as it seems. Watch on BBC iPlayer.
Total Sport North East.
Live from St James's Park.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
And this is Simon Pride at St James's Park, so a 2-2 draw then. And John Anderson is with me. We're here until 10 o'clock this evening. So what we'll do is hopefully get some reaction, at least Razor will, from Eddie Howe, the Newcastle United head coach, and maybe a player as well. We'll try and bring that to you before 10 o'clock this evening. Plenty of time for you to put your points to Ando as well. So send us a WhatsApp message, 08000 321 333. Start your message BBC, or a text on 81333. Again, beginning your message with the letters BBC. And yeah, we'll have a bit of a discussion. We're going to talk about Alexander Isak as well, even though he didn't feature tonight, as is unlikely to feature against Atletico Madrid tomorrow as well. But he still remains very much the talking point around St James's Park. So I spoke to quite a lot of supporters about him earlier this evening. We'll hear what they had to say. So we'll continue that debate as well if you would like to join in. The number to call is 0800 234 6565. We'll also update you with what's been happening in the cricket as well, and what little football there's been tonight too. But John Anderson still with me to reflect on tonight's game. And overall, Ando, well, I think it was probably fairly typical pre-season fare. What were the most positive things that you took from this evening?
I thought the first half was decent. I thought some of the football we played was good. I thought the second half was a little bit of a non-event. Good to see Hall back. Only got 45 minutes in, but he seemed to come through that all right. I thought Targett played well. Young Miley and Guimaraes in the middle of the park. Murphy got his goal. Yeah, they're really difficult, these pre-season games, because there's not a great deal of tempo in them, Simon. You know, and the second half was just a non-event. You know, nothing really happened in the second half. I thought he would have made more changes. He didn't. I don't know whether that reflects on anything. I'm not too sure, but it was good that everybody got a decent workout, and a draw was probably a fair result, I think. I
would agree with you about Matt Targett. Obviously, he scored a goal. He played a little bit of the match in midfield and then went to full back. But he's obviously not played a great deal of football has he, in recent times for Newcastle? So good to see him play well and just demonstrate, I guess, what he can do. Looked very comfortable on the ball, was tough as well, and was aggressive when he needed to be. Made a couple of good last-ditch tackles, and so that would have pleased Eddie Howe, because I think you look at him as somebody in the same kind of ilk, I guess, as Emil Kraft. You know that if you need him, he's going to be reliable and he's going to do a certain kind of job.
I thought he played well. I thought he did well. And I mean, obviously, everybody's going to be talking about young Park. He was lively. He was keen. He wanted to get on the ball. He tried to make things happen. Big boy, 18 years of age. There's plenty of him there. Seems a confident type of lad as well. Got good pace. So still very, very raw, but these type of games will stand them in good stead.
Yeah, the thing about Park that I noticed, and you say that he's raw there, and of course he is still very young. Often when you get a player of that age, perhaps particularly playing in that position, you often see them trying almost a bit too hard, and that makes them maybe just rush things a little bit or make the wrong decision. But with him, I didn't really notice that. I thought he made his decision making was good. He'd occasionally play it simple. He knew when to take on his man. Okay, occasionally he got it wrong, but I just thought I was quite impressed by the maturity he showed for his age.
Yeah, I think at times he probably did it a little bit too simple, especially when he had the opportunity to stick balls in the box.
Yeah,
he's gone, I'm not too sure about that.
A couple of times he beat his man, had the chance, and then pulled it back again.
I'll let somebody else do it. But look, as I say, he's only just arrived, but he looks a decent prospect.
Alfie Harrison came on, didn't he, and had the second half. In and out of the game, a few good touches. It'll be another great experience for him. I mean, I guess those sort of matches are absolutely invaluable for a player like him.
All left-sided, some good, some bad. Was busy yet again. Young Neve came on up front. Didn't see a great deal of the ball. We didn't get the ball into those areas for him.
His pressing helped to set up the second goal at least. Yeah,
but yet again, these type of games and getting out there and getting that type of experience will stand these boys in good stead.
Any thoughts? 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp. Start your message with the letters BBC. You can text 81333, also starting with the letters BBC. In the Championship this evening, they are underway in the Championship, and a big game to start things off at St Andrews as well. Birmingham City up against Ipswich, an 8 o'clock kickoff, so they are still playing. They've got around about 20 minutes just over to play in that game. Birmingham lead by 1-0. Jay Stansfield with that goal. That would be a big first result of the season for them against a team that is many people's favourites to win the Championship this season in Ipswich. But Birmingham a goal up there. In the Scottish Championship, St Johnstone are 1 up on Ross County. Let's just bring you the details of what has happened in the cricket today. It was a day-night game. It was Durham's second game of the One-Day Cup. You might remember they beat Sussex at South Northumberland Cricket Club earlier this week. They had a long trip to Taunton to face Somerset today, and it ended in defeat for Durham. Dominic James has the story.
It was defeat for Durham in Taunton, then losing by 4 wickets. Somerset crawled to a pretty comfortable victory in the end. Durham were without skipper Alex Lees and their lead bowler Ben Rain, as they were rested for this weekend's fixtures. Wicketkeeper and batter Ollie Robinson stepped in as vice-captain and won the toss and elected to have a bat. A decision, though, he might have regretted after a shaky start. The top order struggled. Emilio Gay out for just 7. Scott Borthwick gone for just 10. Colin Ackerman went for a duck, and Ollie Robinson himself was dismissed for just 13. That left Durham 27 for 4 after just 14.2 overs. Durham needed a partnership to settle things down, and they did get one. Will Rhodes continued his good form with a century of just 120 balls and was partnered by youngster Hayden Mustard, who made 38. They put on 78 runs together. George Dressel came and went for just 8. Paul Coughlin came in and tried to up the tempo alongside Will Rhodes with 11 overs left in the innings. They put on 58 together before Rhodes was dismissed with 4 overs to go. Coughlin went soon after on 38 off just 30 balls. Mitch Killeen and James Minto saw Durham to the end, and they finished on 255 for 9. So 256 runs to win for the hosts, a run rate of just over 5 and over and less than run a ball. It made for a pretty slow and calculated response with no risks being taken. Many of the Somerset top order getting in, but unable to get on to make that big score apart from Tom Rue, the brother of the Somerset captain James. Tom went on to make 84 not out from 81 balls. Rue was joined by Ben Green at the end, who added 34 from 35. To see the hosts home with 3 and a bit overs to go. Will Rhodes, the pick of the Durham bowlers, he got a 5 against Sussex on Tuesday. He picked up another 3 today to go with his ton. Durham's early collapse then, their downfall today, but still lots of positives to take with youngsters getting valuable games under their belt. They're next in action on Sunday when they go up against Kent. That one gets underway at 11 a.m.
Dom, thank you very much indeed. Defeat for Durham, then 1 win, 1 defeat so far in their one-day cup campaign. So we've been watching a 2-2 draw here at St James's Park between Newcastle United and the Spanish side Espanyol. Eddie Howe will now be off doing post-match interviews. Razor has dived downstairs to try and grab him first, so hopefully you'll hear from him. I would imagine, Ando, that the majority of the questions that Eddie Howe faces from the assembled media downstairs won't really be about the match.
No, I don't think so. I think it'll be about one person and probably one person only.
We're going to come on to that in a moment.
Yeah,
come on to him in a moment.
And he didn't figure here tonight. Look, he must be sick to his back teeth
already, and he's going to keep getting asked until something happens.
Yeah, I mean, we said it when it first happened, didn't we? That every question that Eddie Howe faces is always going to be about the same topic.
Yes,
not about games or anything else. It's only going to be about one individual.
Well, we're going to talk about him as well in a moment. I wanted to ask you first, though, a couple of things actually. Firstly, Aaron Ramsdale. We didn't really discuss him earlier. I mean, he had a strange first half because he had absolutely nothing to do apart from pick the ball out of the net from an absolute screamer, which he had no chance whatsoever with. Next thing he had to do was face a penalty, which he saved. That was pretty much his first half summed up. Made a good save in the second half as well, and I guess he would have enjoyed it. He didn't have much chance with the Espanyol second goal.
No, he didn't have a chance with either goal. Good penalty save, good save. He made a good save as well. I mean, good hit from outside the box, and he's from Dolan, and he's flung himself to his right. It wasn't really in the corner, but he still had to make the save. Got strong hands, pushed around the post. He's probably sat in there thinking, how have I let in 2 goals because I've had absolutely nothing to do. But as you say, he had no. The first one's a great strike, no keeper saving that. And to be fair, the header as well, it's a real good header. Kiki Garcia moves his neck muscles, powers it in.
Didn't have much chance for that.
No, I didn't have much chance.
I was watching him through the game and trying to contrast him with Nick Pope and what he does.
An awful lot more comfortable with the ball at his feet.
Yeah,
you can see
that was noticeable straight away, wasn't it?
It gets rolled back to him. He's comfortable and
he's got quite a bouncy personality as well. You can see him. He does a lot of talking down there, doesn't he? He's always kind of on his toes and he's encouraging and cajoling as well, and obviously trying to get a rapport with these defenders in particular.
And look, obviously saving the penalty does your confidence the world of good as well.
Yeah.
I mean, he was probably shocked when it's probably his first touch of the ball is to pick the ball out of the back of the net.
I don't know what you read into the fact that, I mean, he played, Byrne played and Cher played, and they'll both play, you would imagine, the first game of the Premier League season. So would that give you an indication that maybe Ramsdale might get the nod, or is that
that doesn't suggest anything to me,
doesn't it?
I still think Nick Pope's number 1.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is I know Cher and Dan Byrne played tonight, but they've played in front of Pope an awful lot more than they have Ramsdale. That could have been the case tonight, that he's played both of them in front of him, because I always think that your relationship between goalkeepers and centre backs are very, very important. The communication issues and one thing and another have got to be there, but I still think
just give those two a chance to play with him, so that they've done that before.
I still think Nick Pope's the number 1 at this moment in time.
Well, I did notice towards the end of that second half you were writing down a Newcastle team, presumably the one that you expect to be fielded in the game against Atletico Madrid tomorrow. What have you got?
Only got 10 players.
Oh, have you? All right, you need to find another one then.
I've got Pope, Livramento right back, Lascelles and Botman if Botman's fit.
Mm-hmm.
If not, Heffernan or Murphy, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Trippier left back. up top, Alanga, Gordon and Barnes, Joe Linton, Tonali, and another.
Okay. Who might that be?
Well, that's the...
Is there anyone who wasn't in the squad tonight that you've missed out there? There possibly is, but I can't think off the top of my head.
Don't think so. I can't think of anybody off the top of me. I mean, Joe Willock's injured.
Yes.
And I spoke to Razor beforehand, and we can only think of 4 fit midfield players, and that's Tonali, Botman, Guimaraes and young Miley.
So maybe it's somebody who was on the bench this evening, but that remains to be seen. We'll find out tomorrow. There will be commentary of the game tomorrow afternoon from St James's Park. It is a 4 o'clock kickoff, isn't it? Because the women's game takes place before that here. And so, we will bring you all the action from that game tomorrow afternoon. And we're going to talk a little bit now about Alexander Isak, who I am sure Eddie Howe is probably, as we speak, talking about downstairs to the media who are putting questions to him. What will become then of Newcastle United's star striker? It's clear that he is keen to move away from the club. I think it's probably fair to say that now. He hasn't been part of the club this week in terms of training or playing in these friendly matches, and Liverpool are thought to be the team most likely, certainly, to put a bid in for him. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But what do you do with a player who has 3 years left on his contract but perhaps doesn't want to be at the football club anymore? Someone of his talent, clearly you'd want him in your team, but you'd want him to have the right attitude if he was playing. I've been having a chat to some Newcastle fans about Alexander Isak and what they would do with him.
I think they've just got to remain professional, because he's not, and that's the real problem with him. If he wants to go, he'll go, but he should be remaining professional about it.
If Liverpool or whoever else don't come up with the fee that they want, though, then there's a problem, isn't there?
Well, again, if he remains professional, he'll have to get back on with it and get on with playing, and he'll have to go next year or whatever.
Do you think he will? Do you think he's the type of character that will?
I couldn't say, really. It's very difficult for a supporter to know, isn't it? It's one of those things that you can't tell the real character of a person from a distance. So.
You could just make him see out his contract, but that doesn't necessarily always work, does it?
It doesn't help anybody, does it, really, at the end of the day? I think, if they'll come up with the money, he goes, and if they won't, hopefully he sees sense and becomes a bit more professional about things.
Still optimistic for the season?
Oh, definitely, yeah, we'll recover.
What would be a successful season?
Same as last year, really. Similar to last year, a cup and get in the Champions League again.
Probably just let him go now, I think, if his heart's not in it to play.
But they need to get the right money for him, don't they?
Yeah, at least 150 million.
Yeah, but what if Liverpool or other teams won't pay that? Then what do they do?
Probably just keep him on the bench for a while.
But it's not ideal, is it?
No, not really.
Need to get another striker in, don't they?
Yes, they could do with getting Wissa, hopefully.
I think they should do whatever they can to keep him, really, but it's a hard one. We just need to keep him, really, or try and get a replacement in and then see what happens. But we need him.
I mean, they absolutely can keep him by simply saying that he has to see out his contract, or at least another year of it. Problem then is if you've got an unhappy player at the club.
Yeah, that's also the thing. It's a tricky situation. Obviously it'd be nice to keep him, but keeping a player that's unhappy, it's a hard one.
How important is he? Is he as important as everyone's saying, or is it actually the case that if he left, if they got somebody else in, maybe it wouldn't make too much of a difference?
I think he's a star man, really. He's been the star man for the last 2 seasons. It's going to be. They can get somebody in, but it's whether he's going to gel and be as good as what Isaac's been. It's.
Are you frustrated at all about the way that the summer's gone in terms of recruitment and potentially players leaving?
Super frustrating. We've done well to hold on to most of the main players. It's a shame, really, with your likes of Sesko, obviously, who's recently could join Man United. Yeah, it's been very frustrating. Obviously, the club's been on the up for the last 3-4 seasons now. Yeah, there's just no.
You don't want to stop that rise, do you? What about you two? What should they do with Alexander Isak? What should they do with that situation?
I reckon they should keep him, but obviously, I know he doesn't want to stay at the club. I know he wants to go, but I reckon we should keep him, and that's it basically. And the same as my dad as well.
Because sometimes it does work if you do that. I mean, you think back to Harry Kane when he wanted to join Manchester City. He stayed at Spurs and still played well for them. Some people are saying that Isak, his heart's not in it, but if he stays, you think he would play well?
I don't know if he would want to go and then not put the effort into the club.
It's a tricky one, isn't it?
Yeah.
What about yourself? Any thoughts on what they should do? It's hard, shrugging the shoulders. To be honest, I think a lot of people are, because it's a tricky situation.
It's a frustrating one, isn't it? Obviously, we've got Champions League. We're finishing in the top 6-7 for the last 3 seasons. We obviously won the cup last season. Yeah, we need to do everything we can to keep the top players, and it's just been, yeah, it's frustrating, very frustrating.
Keep him, but if he doesn't want to stay, get rid of him.
Well, he probably doesn't want to stay by the looks of things, but then how much money should they hold out for?
Over 100 million, I would say.
Yeah. Because the problem is, if you keep him and he doesn't want to be there, it's not good having a player that doesn't want to be there, is it?
No.
What about yourself?
Yeah, the same. It should be. If he doesn't want to, if he's not happy to stay, then he should go.
Why do you think he wants to move, bearing in mind they're in the Champions League and he won a trophy last season?
He just doesn't seem to be happy. He just wants to. It looks like he doesn't want to be here.
Keep him until we find a good enough replacement.
So if they can't find a replacement in the transfer window, you keep him?
Yeah.
Even if he doesn't want to be here?
Yeah. 3 years still left on his contract.
Exactly, so make him play. It's his job.
Yeah.
But would his attitude be right?
Potentially not. But then we've got to do something about it.
Would you rather somebody else decent came in and he left, or would you rather he stayed whatever?
Someone decent and left and take the money.
So who's going to come in?
I'm not sure.
I'm just hopeful that he'll change his mind and he'll stay, I think. And I know that's quite controversial, but I'd still like to see him scoring many, many goals for us next season.
It's happened before. Players who've wanted to leave clubs have been told they can't, and they have had the right attitude and got back down to playing, so hopefully he would do that.
And I think he could do. I think the team's got that ethos, behind them, that they could accept him back into the team. If he's willing to do that, I'd be willing as a supporter to see him there again, and it could be another wonderful season.
Do you think other supporters would feel the same though? Because that could make things interesting.
We're a fickle bunch, aren't we? I don't know, but from just my 2 pennies, I'd think I'd like to see him turn around and come back and start scoring again for us. What
about yourself?
I'd like to see him back. I think it's silly. I don't think there's anyone can replace him. So why would we get rid where we don't necessarily need to?
What about his attitude though? The fact that he's obviously looking for a move and hasn't been training with the club, etc.
I feel that it's more agent driven than it is him. I mean, he's done what he's done, but I think you can forgive and forget. If he's going to go out and help us win trophies, it's got to work, hasn't it?
Yeah, and if he comes back into the team, scores a hat-trick in his first game, I think people forget pretty quickly, don't they?
Oh, massively so.
Yeah, we'd forget straight away.
Yeah. He's going to be a legend, isn't he then?
Very quickly, what's going to happen this season?
Oh, that's a big question. I think we're going to hold our own. I definitely think we're going to hold our own, and then I think we'll get further in the Champions League than we did last time, and that's all I asked for.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Yeah, I think hopefully a good cup run and further in the Champions League.
I think they should let him go. If he wants to leave, he wants to leave. I think it's a good price. Plus he's injury prone as well, so maybe, if we sold him off, or if we didn't end up selling him off, he could get an injury and value could drop later down the line. Plus, if you don't really want players who don't want to be there, full stop. And yeah, I think we should just let him go. Obviously, you need replacements and that. I think Wissa will definitely get done. I don't know who then the primary striker would be, but if we did get another Isak replacement, I'd say let him go.
What would be a good price for him?
I think 131, 120 to 130. It depends how much up front. I think we need them. Do we need the money now? Maybe. I'm not too sure. But yeah, I think 130 or 140.
Do you feel let down by him at all?
I think the way he's went on about it is not good. I think, especially Liverpool got Ekitike, then he brought it out, and he's waited halfway through the season, which isn't ideal. If he, at the start, if you mentioned, look, I want to go elsewhere, it'd be fine, because we would have had more time to look for other transfers, and yeah, I don't think it would have been as bad.
If he wants to stay, then we have to support him, but if he wants to go, just get him going, get someone else in.
So is it that easy though to get someone else in of that quality? It's not, is it?
No, absolutely not. No, he's world class, to be fair.
But he is under contract, 3 years.
You offer him a new contract then.
So you think they should actually say to him, I think he was, the stories are he's after something ridiculous. I've even heard £400,000 a week. Really?
Hard to say. I don't know.
I know, it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
There's no right answer.
There isn't, no. It's one of them. It's going to drag on to the end of the transfer window, I think.
I think if he wants to leave, then just let him leave at this point, because they've got money, they'll get money, get somebody else in that wants to play for the club, wants to play for the badge. As good as what he is, and he is good, if he's not wanting to be here, he's not going to play to the best of his ability, is he?
It's very, very difficult to get someone that would be that good, though. That's the problem.
It is. That is a difficult part, and we've lost out on what seems like a couple of transfers for big strikers. But it just seems to be that there's got to be somebody else out there that's not as good, but will be eventually in time.
Do you feel let down by him?
A little bit, because he's come here, done amazing, and we've looked after him. But end of the day, if he don't want to be here, he don't want to be here.
I guess that's the way that football is sometimes.
Yeah, 100%. You can't pay it. You can pay him to play, but you can't pay him to stay, can you? So,
what would be a price that you would find acceptable for him?
Well, I would have said before Nunes had gone, I'd have took Nunes 100 million, and I think that would have been fair on all sides around. I think at minute probably 110, 120. Don't want to be too greedy. As good as what he is, there'll be somebody else that'll come around that'll be just as good.
For me personally, I think if he doesn't want to stay, there's no point keeping him here. It's just going to be the same old thing of us keeping a player that doesn't want to play for us. So for me, if we can get a replacement in, then we should let him go. But until that point, he's got to stay here, because otherwise we've got no other options in that regard.
So if there's no replacement in by the end of the transfer window, keep him and play him?
He's got to play, really. We can't expect Osalu to be starting against the likes of Villa and Liverpool. So yeah, I'd keep him if we can't get a replacement.
Would you be worried about A, his attitude and form, and B, the way that some fans might react to him?
Absolutely. There's a lot of question around him not wanting to play for the club now, despite everything that he said about the club. But at the same time, if it comes to that we've got no options, then he'll have to play. So I would be worried about that, but it'll probably come to January and then he will go. But if we can't get anyone, then that's what we'll have to do.
What about yourself?
Well, and I agree with what he said, but you'd also hope as a professional that he would act professionally and play well regardless of whatever was being said. So
yeah, some players do that, some players don't, and I guess it's just a question of what his character is like, really.
Yeah, that's it, and hopefully he'll show good character.
I think he's one of the top strikers for us, and I don't want him to go because he looked really good last season and this season. So if he goes, he goes. But if he wants to stay, he'll stay.
And you would hope that maybe he would stay and maybe actually have a good season and realise that maybe he likes it here after all.
Yeah, he's a really good player as well. And look, we got Champions League and we won the Carabao Cup. So what's the point? He's leaving.
So a variety of different views there, John Anderson. Some people saying try to keep him and he will come back and play his best if he has to stay. Others say no, if he doesn't want to be there, get rid of him. I guess that's the spectrum of opinion that we've heard on Total Sport this week as well. But interesting to hear people speak in a bit more depth about him there.
Yeah, I think people are divided on it, Simon, to be quite honest. Look, the one thing I would say, and I've said this on Total Sport as well, if you don't get a replacement in, you can't afford to let him go. Mm-hmm. It's as simple as that.
Especially, we watched Asula tonight.
Yeah.
We've got a message that's come in from Frank who says if we're hanging our hat on Asula, we're in deep trouble. Who in their right mind paid £15 million to a championship club where he never scored a goal in his time there? He'll never be first choice at Newcastle, and he's not improved since he came. Our recruitment team are out of their depth when it comes to final negotiations, says Frank.
Yeah, look, he's... We've said it many a time. He's a big, strong, athletic boy, quick. He's a little bit raw There's no doubt about that. He chases, he harries, but there's something. He just doesn't look ready at this moment in time, to be quite honest. So. Yeah, if we don't get anybody in, my opinion is you can't afford to let Isak go. It's as simple as that.
Newcastle drew 2-2 with Espanyol tonight. Aaron Ramsdale made his first appearance for Newcastle, and after the match he had a chat to BBC Radio Newcastle's Matthew Raisbeck.
Aaron Ramsdale, nice to speak to you. As a first St James's Park experience as a Newcastle player, how was that?
It was good fun to get a run out. Obviously a different crowd than a normal match day, so it was a nice vibe, but to get a taste of what it's going to be is it's something special, and I thought the game was alright as well. Disappointed at the end to concede so late.
And to save a penalty as well. Now, you played against Espanyol, didn't you, and faced that player when you were at Southampton earlier this summer, but this time you came out on top.
Yeah, it was about 10-15 days ago. We played over in Spain, and he had a different run up and went the other side and scored, so I thought he might change, so I got lucky on that one, and it was obviously a nice feeling to save the penalty and keep us in the game at that point.
How's your first week of training, or almost a week, with your new teammates been?
Yeah, it's been really good having them back in. It was a lonely place at the training ground for a couple of days. It was just me and some of the guys. Being back with them. Obviously, I've only been on the grass twice. So obviously connections will slowly get there. The great thing is I know a couple of the lads personally as well, so I've slotted in really well, and obviously I know all the backroom staff and coaching staff, so it's been a seamless transition, and hopefully we can just carry on building with our connections on the pitch.
Felt like this move seemed to happen quite quickly, maybe compared to a lot of other transfers. Sometimes they can drag on, but did it just come quickly, this opportunity for you?
The actual the wheels in motion from when I got told about the interest to actually being up in Newcastle was really quick. Obviously took a couple of days just to sort it all out. Obviously with the team in Asia it was a little bit difficult, so the actual process was quite long, and like I said, I was sat around with a few of the guys at the training ground, but again that allowed me to meet people at the training ground I might not have had a connection with where the lads are in, the chefs and the kitchen ladies and the administration and the media and people like that, so it was good, and I had time to learn names and put names to faces for a piece of paper to have a personal interaction when I first met them, so that side of it was long, but the actual football side it was quick.
Last couple of things. You've worked with Eddie Howe and the staff before. You mentioned that you know them. How does a pre-season with Eddie Howe and his team differ to what you were used to previously? Has it changed a lot? I mean, he's known for his intensity in terms of training and preparation.
No, it's still very similar, and it's something that I've missed, and I had a good chat with him on the Wednesday on my first session, and just said how much I missed the training and the intensity and the way he works and the way he thinks, and it was like just being back to normal for me, and I can remember little snippets of what we used to do, and just brought a little smile back to my face, and just the way that the whole coaching staff work, it's something I'm used to, and it's something I can just walk into and get going straight away.
That was Aaron Ramsdale speaking to Matthew Raisbeck after tonight's game, in which he saved a penalty, a 2-2 draw against Espanyol here at St James's Park. We're not going to get you Eddie Howe before 10 o'clock this evening, but of course you will hear from him on BBC Radio Newcastle on our bulletins, our news bulletins tomorrow morning, and of course on Total Sport on Monday evening. You'll hear from him, you'll hear from young Sean Neve, who came on tonight as well, so big night for him, the young striker. Couple more messages to put to you, Ander. We were talking about Alexander Isak and the striker situation generally, just before we heard from Aaron Ramsdale there. Andrew's message to say regarding Frank's message about Asula, nobody at Newcastle is hanging their hat on Asula. He's for the future. We will sign 2 new strikers. Fact, capital letters, says Andrew.
Hope he's right.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a fact, is it? I mean, that's just what he strongly believes will happen.
Where are you going to get 2 new strikers in the space of what, 2 weeks?
Well, I guess he's thinking that Wissa will come,
right,
and that there is somebody else that will also arrive. It's probably what they're trying to do. That is a fact.
They've been trying to do it all summer.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean, Andrew, that it will happen, I guess. This one is from Rob, who's in Hexham. Thank you for your message, Rob. Everyone's on about the director of football and the CEO, but what about the scouting system? Surely there are some rough diamonds in South America, for example, says Rob. I'm sure they're looking.
I'm sure they're looking all over the world. I'm sure they're looking everywhere. It's just getting them in, isn't it? You know, everybody else is looking as well. You know, it's not just us that'll be out looking for somebody who you think could be a superstar in the future and could make the club a lot of money, or could be somebody who you build your team around. It's not just us who are looking at for players like that. It's every other team, and not just teams in the Premier League, but teams in the Championship as well. And I think it's going to be tough for us, because, and the reason that I say it's going to be tough is the fact that teams are going to know that you've got the money, but you are desperate to get forward players in as well.
Nobody left now in the stadium apart from Ando and myself and the people clearing up the rubbish and the 5 ground staff with their lawnmowers you might be able to hear in the background, and the smell of that freshly cut grass is drifting over to us here in the press box at St James's Park. Paul in Morpeth has also been in touch and sent us a message via WhatsApp this evening, and he says, as I said in midweek, if 3 or 4 players don't come in this window, Ando, with the amount of games we have and the lack of senior players, we're in for 12th or below in the table this season, says Paul.
Look, I honestly think that if we don't get players in, it's going to be difficult for us, there's no doubt about it, because the last time that we were in the Champions League, we've seen how that went. We struggled with injuries, and even last season Eddie Howe was very reliant on 14, 15 players at best, people who he really trusted. You can't do that and we've got more games in the Champions League this season. We've got a minimum of 8 games, so need to get players in. We are desperate to get players in.
This one is from someone who has put their name on it. Newcastle fans don't want Isak to play for Newcastle. He wants to play for Liverpool. We don't want him. So let him get on with it.
Well, look, as I said earlier, Simon, you know, supporters are split on it. Some want him to stay, and I honestly think that somebody said earlier that you spoke to, if he came back and he started scoring goals again on the regularity that he did last season, all would be forgiven again, because they love a goal scorer here.
Yes, I think you're almost certainly right there. All would be forgiven within an instant. It would just be if he didn't play well when he came back in, it would go the other way, obviously. Ando, thank you very much
as always,
as ever, for your contribution this evening. Thank you very much indeed for listening as well, and Total Sport's going to be back on Monday night at 6 for more reaction.
Total Sport North East, BBC Radio Newcastle.
Espanyol have it back, and then a driven shot. What a hit from Edu Esposito from 20 yards. It was backheeled to him by Roberto Fernandez, and coming onto it right foot first time, has caught it beautifully. Great goal for Espanyol, who lead at St James's Park in the 17th minute, 1-0. Miley gets away from a couple of defenders, hangs up a cross, headed into the net by Matt Targett. Of all people, Matt Targett who's never scored for Newcastle United, has headed in at the Gallagher end, playing in midfield tonight, getting forwards, and on the end of the cross, hung up by Miley, they have equalised in the 21st minute. Newcastle United 1, Espanyol 1. Espanyol short balls out from the back, they've lost it, and Newcastle take the lead for the first time tonight. Jacob Murphy profiting after some risky play at the back from the Spaniards. It came to Murphy in the box, and as the goalkeeper advanced, he slotted it underneath him. Jacob Murphy, Newcastle's top scorer in pre-season, has his third goal of the summer. And in the 78th minute, Newcastle United 2, Espanyol 1. Here are Espanyol, and they're going to leave with a draw because they've just equalised. And Newcastle, with a late goal conceded, a header from a chipped cross towards the near post. Ramsdale beaten for the second time tonight. It is
Garcia, was it?
2-2.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
BBC Sounds app. On your smart speaker.
Play BBC Radio Newcastle.
And on your radio.
The sound of the North East is BBC Radio Newcastle.
At 10 with the BBC News, I'm John Barnes. The astronaut Jim Lovell, who guided the Apollo 13 mission safely back to Earth after an explosion during the flight, has died at the age of 97. NASA said he turned a potential tragedy into a success after his attempt to land on the moon 55 years ago. In the later interview, Lovell recounted the moment everything went wrong.
We heard a sharp bang, the spacecraft vibrated back and forth, and then everything was quiet. We were some 200,000 miles from Earth, some 90 hours to get home, and we were going in the wrong direction.
The UN Security Council is to meet tomorrow to discuss the Israeli government's decision to expand its war against Hamas by taking control of Gaza City. The announcement follows widespread condemnation of the plan. Speaking before starting a meeting with US Vice President J.D. Vance in Kent, the Foreign Secretary David Lammy said the situation in Gaza was of great concern.
I am concerned about what is developing in Gaza at this time and the recent decision by the cabinet, and hugely concerned, as I think a lot of Israeli people are, about the impact, particularly on the hostages, and we'll be able to discuss these issues in the hours ahead.
A domestic abuser from Sunderland has been jailed after a woman secretly called 999 so call handlers could hear the attack he was inflicting on her. This report from Alex Booth contains upsetting details.
Anthony Craggs repeatedly punched his victim, strangled her and held a knife to her throat, leaving her in fear for her life. During an incident at her home in December, she called 999 and slid her phone under her fridge, where the call handler could hear her pleading with Craggs. She managed to escape and police arrived minutes later. Craggs, who has no fixed address, has a string of previous convictions, including robbery and domestic abuse. He was jailed for 3 years and 9 months.
A former Lancashire probation officer has been given a 12-month suspended prison sentence after it was revealed she was in a relationship with a prisoner. A mobile phone seized from a cell at Preston Prison confirmed communications between Leonie Wilkinson and 26-year-old Gary Hampson, a serving inmate. The 27-year-old was found guilty of misconduct in a public office. The Broadstairs Folk Week in Kent starts today. It's the 60th anniversary and the event features 400 events and more than 60 pub gigs. The festival director is Kai Hoffman.
We had Lindisfarne down last night for a pre-festival concert, and the atmosphere already is just absolutely hopping around Broadstairs. We have 27 different venues this year, including our main concert stage and the main dance hall. There's over 400 events over the course of the next 9 days.
There's more on the BBC News website, but that's the latest and you're up to date. The time now is 3 minutes past 10.